Hello Twitch, Artemu the Violet Wizard here, and tonight we are continuing Pokémon Emerald. Last time, we thwarted Team Magma's plans on Mount Chimney, managed to defeat the 4th gym leader, Flannery, and even managed to catch a new team member, Harlequin, the Cacnea, who I'm quite excited to get to use, because I don't see Cacnea used a whole lot in Hoenn playthroughs, so yep, she should be a very interesting Pokemon to use. So since last time, I trained all of the main party members up to level 30 so that we're prepared for the battles ahead, because we got ourselves a very tough battle ahead for us. But for the time being, we are going to go over everything that we're capable of doing here in the Hoenn region before facing off against our father. So that should be good. First of all, I want to show that I now have a TM for Flamethrower. This is one of the TMs you can purchase at the Game Corner in Mauville City. Flamethrower is a 95 base power attack, has a chance of burn, and is just widely considered one of the best fire moves in the game, and I bought this specifically to give to Jerk. I feel like it'll be a very nice upgrade from Ember, because he's not too far off from learning another fire-type attack, but it's not exactly a move that I want to have Jerk on his final moveset, so I feel like this is a good course of action here. Plus, he's going to need all the power he can get for the future battles. So yeah, that TM was quite expensive. It took, at least $80,000 just to buy that at TM, so it's quite expensive, but definitely worth it. Very soon we're going to have access to an item that will help make getting money a lot easier, but for the time being, we're just going to disregard that. So very quickly, we're heading back into Fiery Path, and I want to teach Strength to Armstrong. This was something I was going back and forth about last time, considering his moveset. Like, Takedown is quite a bit stronger than Strength, but at the same time it is a hell of a lot less accurate, and Strength does have good utility for us in this adventure. So I feel like for the time being we're gonna forget Takedown for Strength, especially because it's gonna be quite a while until we need to get a new move for Armstrong. His moveset is gonna be pretty static for quite a while, but he'll get some better moves in time. It's pretty much all the prep work I wanted to do here. Oh hey, we never actually fought anything here in the Fiery Path. There's quite a few Pokemon can be caught in this area. Like Machop, you can also get Slugma, Torkoal. Very rarely you can also get Coughing and Grimer in this area. In fact, I think it's the only area we can get those two. So yeah, quite a few Pokemon to get in here if you're looking to fill up your Pokedex. As you can tell, grinding Harlequin up to get her on par with everyone else was quite a treat. That wasn't too bad, just training in the desert, because she's super effective against pretty much everything you can find in the desert, which ultimately made training her not very bad. So in terms of some stuff that's been going on right now, I am now officially 27 years old. My birthday was yesterday, and what a good birthday it was. So I actually went to the beach with my mom, and we just kind of hanged out, and I just relaxed. So I know it's been a very busy couple of months for me being an essential worker, so getting to reward myself with just the day to chill by the water is just... it was a good time. going a little bit into our new teammate that we got. First of all, now that we have our gym badge from Lava Ridge, we can finally push these large rocks, which is good. They'll be definitely plentiful as this adventure goes on. But yeah, going into our new team member, Cacnea is quite an interesting Pokemon for me. Oh, hello there, coughing. I really love Cacnea's design. It's like someone took a cactus and carved it out into a jack-o'-lantern, which I feel is a very cool idea. Yeah, it just got a very cute, somewhat tough design to it, and got quite a lot of exposure in the anime as well. Like Viper, it was one of Team Rocket's Pokemon for quite a few seasons, lasting almost the entirety of the Hoenn saga and about halfway through the Sinnoh saga before finally being retired. And what an episode that was. Just seeing James give up his Cacnea in the end was quite something. So yeah, it's a Pokemon that definitely had a lot of good exposure in the anime. And I thought it would also synergize very nicely with our team. It's not going to stay a pure grass type for very long. In fact, if things go as planned during this stream, we could actually see her evolving relatively soon. So right there we picked up a really cool TM, Toxic. This thing is really helpful for a certain battle coming up. So we've already seen the poison status throughout this adventure, but that's not the only instance of poison in this series. Some moves, such as Toxic, are able to inflict a status called Badly Poisoned. And the way a Badly Poison works compared to the other normal poison is that as the battle goes on, the amount of damage your Pokemon will take at the end of every turn from the poison damage will increase exponentially, so it'll get worse and worse as the battle progresses. Of course, once you switch your Pokemon out or after the battle ends, the Badly Poisoned status transforms back into regular poison, which I feel is nice for keeping things balanced. But yeah, it's a really cool status, and what's great is that Toxic is one of the rare TMs that can be actually learned by every Pokemon in the game that is capable of learning TMs. So you wouldn't really expect it, but this little status move is really dang helpful. Just really good for whittling down more defensive HP-rich Pokemon. It's just such a cool move. One that I've definitely used in a lot of different tactics, especially for a certain boss that's coming up in this adventure, because, oh boy, if you ever want to defeat like a really powerful opponent with a kind of below average stats Pokemon, Toxic's definitely really good for that. What's also interesting about Toxic is that in later generations, Toxic actually has 100% accuracy if it is specifically used by a Poison-type Pokemon, which I think is a really cool detail. Like, so many Pokemon are able to learn this move, but Poison-type Pokemon specifically get an added benefit to using it. So yeah, it is just a very awesome attack. So down here we get a pretty unique item, Firestone. And this will allow us to evolve certain Pokemon. We haven't run into anything yet that can evolve with a Firestone, but eventually we will have access to a Pokemon that can. We'll go over that much later, when we actually get around to encountering it. So we're pretty much done here in the Fiery Path. Just needed strength to get into this little area to the side, and that's where you get some pretty good items. I can imagine quite a few playthroughs of this game. I didn't even know that stuff was there until I actually went back and realized, oh wait, there's actually some good stuff back here. Fortunately, I don't have any escape ropes on me, and I'm not gonna learn my dig TM just yet, but it's fine. Harlequin could really use some experience right now. She's not really the weakest member of the team, but she is one of the few that hasn't evolved yet, along with Armstrong. But if things goes as planned, both Harlequin and Armstrong should be receiving a very much needed power boost. Which I'm very much looking forward to, because I can imagine they're going to be very helpful in a lot of battles in the future. Especially in the late game, a grass type like Cacnea can be really helpful, as we'll see as the series progresses. Just a taste of things to come, Cacnea can naturally learn Feint Attack, which is really good. That's a dark type move with pretty good power, and it has the effect of always being able to hit. You cannot miss with this attack, which makes it really helpful in a lot of battles, especially if you're going up against opponents that have moves like Double Team or abilities like Sand Veil. So yeah, a lot of good stuff there. So just for preparing for the future battles, one thing I'd like to say is that if you don't have a fighting type on your team or have any strong fighting type moves, I highly recommend getting some, because they can be very helpful for what's coming up. Harlequin managed to get a very nice level up, so now you're 31. And let's see what Pocky's got for us. Super Potion. Very good, I'll take that. Still haven't used that secret power TM. I will eventually show off secret bases, but I'm gonna wait until we have a much better opportunity to use the features of the secret base before I actually go over that with an explanation. Just know that if you're playing Omega Ruby or Alpha Sapphire, that secret bases can be really helpful, especially for training. If you have an internet connection. Why am I saying that now? Of course you'd have an internet connection to listen to this. Whatever. So yeah, we're heading back to Petalburg Town now, because there's actually some stuff that's become available to us. Right quick, while I'm here, I'm gonna go see if I can actually get anything with my soot sack, because I have been through this area a few times, so it'd be interesting to see. So I think you need like over 80 ash just to get one thing here. It's not enough ash here, can't make glass with this. Okay. So yeah, you still need to take a lot of steps in order to get special items there. But I definitely say they'd be worth it. They can help deal with a lot of unique status conditions that are kind of tricky to deal with. I'm already really loving strength here. Just very solid power, and having 100 accuracy on it, just a very reliable attack. So now that we're here in Petalburg Town, let's go pay a visit to Professor Cosmo. Oh, I never should have let myself be conned into telling Team Magma where you can find meteorites. That meteorite from Meteor Falls, it's never gonna be mine now. Oh, that item. Could it be? Is it the meteorite that Team Magma took from Meteor Falls? Please, may I have it? I'm not asking for it for free. How about exchange for this TM? This TM, it represents my feeling of gratitude. Please use it. So get TM 27. It's quite a unique attack. And we handed over the meteorite. Oh, I can't believe it. This is really, really great. It's really gonna help my research. This guy seems happy. Look at Professor Cosmo. He's so happy. I think it's cute. Amen to that. you can enjoy your rock while I enjoy my new TM. So TM27 is Return. The more the user likes you, the more powerful this move. So basically you got a normal type attack that gains power depending on the friendship status of your Pokemon. So obviously, the better you treat your Pokemon, the more powerful this attack gets. And I think that's a really cool concept. A lot of Pokemon are able to learn this move, and it's just genuinely good if you are using a pure normal type on your playthrough, because they also get the stab bonus. So yeah, if you're using something like a Zangoose or a Vigoroth, I could definitely recommend it. I don't think we need to teach anyone anything there. So now that every one of the team's at least level 30, how about we finally go check out the battle tent here in Petalburg Town? So don't think we need a save here. I welcome you to the battle tent Petalburg site. I'm your guide to the Set KO tourney. Now, you wish to take the challenge of a Set KO tourney? Sure. Very well. Now select your free Pokemon, please. So for this, you definitely want to use a good variety of types here. Let's go for Armstrong, Shanty, and Jerk. They should be very reliable here. Before showing you to the battle tent, I must say, is that okay? I shall now guide you to the battle tent. Set KO tourney, begin! My Pokemon are silky smooth. Okay. So this is quite a different battle format from things that we have seen before. Using only free Pokemon, we have to defeat our opponents. Also, whenever you come here, your opponents will be at least level 30. If you have higher than level 30 Pokemon, your opponents will scale to the level of your highest level opponent. So right now, basically, we're just going to try to do our best to take out our opponent here. The Spark can be kind of annoying there. Or completely because he gets a critical hit. That's honestly pretty bad considering my team composition here. And I'm not even getting to show off like the real gimmick of this place. Okay, this is really bad. I can't actually switch out here. Let's go to Protect. I want to try to outlast this thing, because I think what could be smart is to try to outlast the opponent, not necessarily try to take it out. Come on, Shanty, I know you're defensive. Nope, wasn't enough. Yeah, that ×4 weakness really hurts. So yeah, this is quite an interesting battle format. Not being able to switch out against your opponent here. Alright, since it's our new move, let's go for Flamethrower. It's very nice because it won't be affected by that growl. Alright, Jerk, I need you to take out 3 opponents in a row. I hope you're good for... Oh, that's very good. Let's manage to take out Plusle at last. Next opponent is Linoon. This is the evolution of Zigzagoon. Yeah, let's go for Double Kick. That should be fine. That's a shame it got a defense drop on me, but hopefully we can take this thing out. Okay, that thing is bulkier than I was expecting. So for this guy, I want an easy KO in this thing, so let's use Bulk Up first. That'll boost both our attack and our defense. So yeah, definitely using those stat-up moves can be helpful here. And it's using Charm. I don't like that. Charm is definitely one of the more interesting debuff moves, and that it will sharply lower your attack, which can be bad. Alright, time to go into the gimmick here. We will now go to judging to determine the winner. The Pokemon showing the most guts. So both Pokemon scored evenly in this. Category number 2, skill. The Pokemon using their moves the best. Jerk managed to get the point there. and finally Body, the Pokemon with the most vitality. So basically, you have free turns to try to defeat your opponent, and when those free turns are used up and you haven't defeated your opponent, and both Pokemon will be judged based on how they battle, and the Pokemon that receives the best points goes on to the next round. It's quite an interesting battle format, and it's not going to be the last time we see this either, as we're going to see much later on. I really wish you didn't use that. At least our defense is up, so we shouldn't take too much damage from that dig. We'll go for the flamethrower again. Oh, why'd you get a critical hit? My silky smooth Pokemon rule! We couldn't even beat our first opponent here. Oh, is that a great omen of things to come? So yeah, that's how things at the Petalburg Battle Tent go. You have free turns to defeat your opponent, and if you manage to take them out or perform better than them in that battle, then you'll be able to move on to the next round. It's an interesting battle format. It could definitely be a little awkward, because you'll definitely want to think hard about what Pokemon you're going to use in the matches, because you can't switch out at all. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting challenge there. So for what I think I want to do next, yeah, we go over this. Oh, something I didn't notice before. There's an item here. Hyper Potion. That is really good, because I don't think you can obtain that very easily at this point. Hyper Potion restores 200 HP in this generation. That's more HP than any of our Pokemon have at this point, so getting these can be very helpful. If you have a Pokemon with Pickup, they'll eventually be able to pick up those items once they're high enough level. So yeah, that's something. So that battle tent did not go very well for us, but there's still another battle tent that we could have challenged before, but we didn't go to. And I want to go head over there. If we could stop encountering guys right now. But yeah, the battle tents are definitely an interesting... Stop having battles here. The battle tents are definitely an interesting addition here in Emerald. This is the only game they appear in, and the battle formats are definitely interesting. Like, we had the rental battles back in Pokémon City. And then we have that judging format here in Petalburg. And the one that we got coming up in Verdant Turf, oh boy, that's an interesting one. So Armstrong, check out that Spinda, very good. This man is so close to getting a level up, because I really, really need him to get some levels for the future. Alright, we're just gonna cut through the desert here, and we should be back in Mauville very easily. Yeah, it's nice having all these new shortcuts introduced to us as we're going for our adventure. I guess one thing we could have potentially done at this point is put the Pokemon egg back in our team. I guess that would be something, but for now, we're not going to focus on that right now. I do definitely want to show off what can be hatched from that egg, but for the time being, it can just remain in the box. Alright, let's actually go put away that Firestone, because we don't really need it at this point. Just filling up the inventory. Is there anything I need to withdraw? So I'll actually take the black glasses, because that'll be good on... That'll be good for Harlequin. And I think that's everything we need here. Yeah. Alright, Harley, time for you to get some cool shades. Awesome. I welcome you to the Battle 10 Verdant Turf site. Here, the trainer's trust toward Pokemon is tested. You wish to take the Verdant Turf Battle 10 challenge? Sure. So once again, we have to choose 3 Pokemon to battle here. One thing I definitely recommend, check the natures of your Pokemon before going into these battles. And I feel like these natures could be good here. I think for this one, let's go for Shanty, Jerk, and Alexa. Sure, man, you can save my game. So yeah, this will be pretty interesting. Look at my super teeter dance! Boy, is that something I'm not looking forward to seeing later. Swimmer Gerard. He's got himself a Wilmer. That's alright. Can we switch out at all? Yeah, we can actually switch out, which could be very good here. Switch Shanty out for Alexa. So I can actually switch out in this particular area. So, that's actually interesting, the move Wilmer just used. Alright. So, Curse is a move that varies depending on the type of Pokemon that use it. If you're a non-ghost type, like what Wilmer is, it will cut your speed but increase your attack and defense. Serving kind of as like bulk up but with a speed drop. But anyway, into the Verdant Turf battles. We're gonna hit fight, and Alexa will immediately attack on her own. You have no input in what your Pokemon do in this battle area. So pretty much we're just gonna rely on Alexa to hopefully do what she can to defeat her opponents. So yeah, this is an interesting battle format, just having the AI go at each other. That's definitely not good for us. We want to swap you out of here. Yeah, Shanty will be able to take that very well. So yeah, the name of the game here is just to let our Pokemon duke it out on their own. So as I said before, the natures of your Pokemon are very important here, because your Pokemon's behavior during this battle is heavily based on your Pokemon's natures. As you can see there was that thing about Barboach having a glint in its eye. It knows Spark? I did not know Barboach could learn that! Oh, Shanty, why'd you have to get paralyzed now? Shanty's eager for more. Oh, Shanty. I did not know that about you. But yeah, a nice thing about this battle style is you get to see a lot more of your Pokemon's distinct personality in this battle format, which is fairly cool. So hopefully Jerk's able to take out this Barboach. Oh, it appears incapable of using its power. That's usually a good sign because it means the Pokemon is stalling and it won't be able to make an action. Very good that we lucked out there. And finally, Magikarp. It may not look like much, but this Magikarp is level 30, so it might actually have some moves it can use. Such as that, Flail. Flail's an interesting attack in that it gains power or the less HP the user has. So, if a Pokemon's taken a lot of damage, its flail will be much more powerful. And Jerk managed to take out Magikarp fairly well, so beat our first opponent. I won't forgive you for that. It's weird how we managed to actually win a battle when we had no control over our Pokemon. My fabulous cuteness is in fashion. Then again, we had such bad luck in that first thing, like, with the critical hits that we took in the last battle, it was just something. Alright, next opponent is Cecilia. She's got a Mightyena. Probably gonna switch out to... See, I'm definitely gonna switch out to Jerk to deal with this thing, because it's got a type advantage. It's a good thing we missed that takedown. Sand attack, I don't like dealing with that. Come on. I'm really not happy about that. Also, yeah, went with Flamethrower when he could have went for... a double kick. Oh, the critical hit's very nice. Thanks, Jerk. I mean, I guess sometimes your Pokemon will focus on trying to get their stab moves in. But yeah, for the most part, it's just a very weird battle format. Double team. If I taught Alexa a Shockwave, we'd be able to get around that super easily. Come on, Alexa, I need you to use Spark. Supersonic, that's not a move I typically expect Swellow to learn. But yeah, it's kind of bad having that status condition on us. If we can just get a Spark in, we can easily handle the Swellow. Another thing I like to bring up is that just like in the Folliver Battle Tent, your opponents will be at least level 30 here. And if your Pokemon are higher than that, then your opponents will scale up to the highest level on your team. Come on, Alexa, we need you to get in at least one Spark against this thing. Alright, we managed to paralyze Swellow, so that should hopefully give us a good advantage here. Just break out of this confusion, Alexa. I know you can do this. She's got a glint appearing in her eyes. I don't really know what that means for the most part. I think it means your Pokemon is getting a good chance of a critical hit, but I don't know. For now, it just seems mainly like flavor text. Alright, good. Managed to get the Spark in, managed to get past the double team. It's very good, Alexa. So happy for you. And the next opponent is Kadabra. See, I'm just gonna let Alexa go for the kill here. Hopefully, he can take this thing out. It's paralyzed, which is nice. Kadabra doesn't synchronize, which is not so nice. But it's paralyzed, which is nice. On that's not good. Oh, they're both incapable of using their power, huh? Okay, Flash is helpful. Didn't really do a lot there. Yep, Alexa goes down. I was kind of expecting that. Let's go to Shanty here, because Kadabra could potentially wipe out Jerk, and Shanty is fairly bulky, so yep, she takes out Kadabra pretty easily. So that's 2 for free now. Don't you have fashion sense? I mean, a lot more than Brendan does. And time for our third opponent. I want the World Movie Collection. Okay. It's kind of odd. School Kid Nala. See, we got ourselves a Lion King fan here. Well, at least your parents were Lion King fans. It's still like one of my favorite movies of all time. Just such a beautiful animated movie, good story, excellent music, just so good. Been meaning to rewatch it even though I just did a few months ago. This thing's going to be a bit of a pain if it's going to keep using Protect, and if Alexa doesn't use Spark here. At the very least, Pelipper is paralyzed, so we do have that, and we managed to get the 4 times weakness there. Very good. Next is Goldeen. Well, that's very easy for us, just throwing us the win right here. Good work, Alexa! Even managed to get a crit, even though it was a Goldeen. We probably didn't need the crit. And our final opponent is Shroomish. For this one, let's go to Jerk. We can have him try to finish this fight. Elite Seed. That could be bad if this battle drags on, which I hope it doesn't. Come on, Jerk. I know you can do this. I gave you Flamethrower for a reason. There we go. So, yep, so that should take down Shroomish. Fried mushrooms. I refuse to believe this! To achieve a free win streak, the bonds that bind your heart with your Pokemon seem firm and true. Your feat will be recorded. I must ask you to briefly wait. For the feat of your free win streak, we present you with this prize. We get a Nest Ball for that. So the Nest Ball I don't think we have covered yet if we go into Pokeballs. Yeah. Nest Ball works better on Pokemon that are lower leveled than your Pokemon that you have out. It definitely be useful for a few situations, but as the game progresses and we start encountering like higher level boss opponents, it definitely doesn't get better. It's an interesting item, not one that I'm really that much of a fan of compared to some of the other Pokeballs introduced later in this game and especially in later generations. Now we want to head through the Rust Turf Tunnel and get to Rustboro City for a few reasons. We potentially get a level up on Armstrong, because I really want him to be as strong as he can for the battles ahead. Alright, that's fine. We're almost done here anyway. Remember we used to encounter Poochyena very early on? Now, just coming back to these older areas after becoming stronger is just such an interesting feeling. It really shows how far we've come on this adventure, and how much stronger and more dependable our Pokemon have become. Right. That we should be good. Yeah. So back in Rustboro City, there is now something that we are able to do now that we've been to the Mirage Tower back on Route 111. So I'm gonna head up here and talk to this specific trainer. I'm trying to develop a device that resurrects Pokemon from fossils, and it's working! Wait, that thing you have there, is that a Pokemon fossil? Would you like to bring that Pokemon back to life? I can with my newly developed fossil regenerator. Excellent, let's do this right away. The fossil regenerator, which I made, is incredible, but is one drawback. It takes a long time to work. So how about you go for a stroll and look around for a while? Certainly. Okay, stroll's over. Give me my Pokemon. Thanks for waiting. Your fossilized Pokemon's been brought back to life. The fossil was an ancient Pokemon. Anorith it was. So now we got ourselves Anorith. You can go in the box without a name. That's just fine. So, to go into the fossil Pokemon that we just now have access to, by taking the fossils you get from Route 111 or Mirage Tower, to the Devon Researcher, you're able to get one of two Pokemon. Anorith is obtained from the Claw Fossil and is a Rock Bug type. And the root fossil gets you the Leap, which is a rock grass type. Both of these Pokemon can be really good in a lot of different situations. They both have very unique typings that aren't very common in the series even to this day, and they are pretty darn effective with very good stats once they are fully evolved, and they can be very reliable. To go into their stats right quick, if you go with the little Leap, you'll eventually get yourself a very bulky special attacker with very good defensive stats, some pretty good move options, and interesting ability. I mean, Suction Cups I wouldn't say is too reliable. Oh, but it's ultimately still a overall decent Pokemon. On Anorith, meanwhile, is a lot more offensive, focusing mainly on attack and defense, has some pretty good move coverage, all things considered, and overall a good battler. They definitely have their strengths and weaknesses, and I did consider one of them for a spot on my team at some point or another, before ultimately settling on Armstrong as my rock type. But yeah, they're all good in their ways. So that said, we got ourselves quite the challenge ahead of us. It's everything we're able to do before going to face our next gym battle. This is gonna be a doozy, I can tell. Hey, how's it going, Champion Mountain Haley? The doors in this gym open when you beat the waiting trainers. Whoops, the doors in this room are already open, so don't attack me. The trainers at Petalburg Gym use all kinds of items. The door to the left leads to the speed room. The door to the right leads to the accuracy room. The room's name will be on the door, so choose carefully. Once you choose in the door, well, hey, go for it. So got ourselves a pretty interesting normal gym, all things considered. Every room will specialize in a certain attributes, namely increasing stats of your Pokemon so that they'll be able to have good bonuses in battle. Randall here is leading off with a Swellow. Yeah, we're not dealing with pure normal types here. We're actually getting dual types here, which is fairly good, helping to keep things diverse. If you're playing Ruby Sapphire in the remakes, the type diversity of the Pokemon you'll be seeing here is not all that good, but in Emerald, they definitely increase the variations on the Pokemon that you'll be encountering, which helps keep things very distinct here. So, while we're going through this area, let's talk some strategies. I highly recommend having a fighting-type Pokemon in this gym. If you started the adventure with a Torchic, then congratulations, you already got a fighting-type Pokemon by this point. And can be pretty reliable, all things considered. Naturally learns Bulk Up. It gets Double Kick, which works very well in tandem with its stats. Overall, a very good Pokemon to have here. You could get Makuhita back in the Granite Cave. It should easily be evolved by now. Very bulky, very strong. And like Combuskin is also capable of learning Bulk Up, so I would definitely recommend giving that to it so that it can make use of its power against the opponents here. You're also able to obtain Machop back on Route 112, among other areas, on the road to Lava Ridge Town, which is another very solid fighting-type Pokemon. Just great attack and bulk, all things considered. It's very powerful and learns some very helpful moves. Namely, if you're able to get Revenge on it, which is really helpful. Because Revenge, it's a low priority attack, but if your Pokemon gets damaged on the turn that you're using Revenge, then the power of the move is doubled, making it really helpful when you're fighting in this area. And yeah, Machop should definitely be evolved by the time you get it to this point, so you should have a very reliable fighting type if you go for any of those options on your team. And just to briefly go over that Pokemon we just fought, Delcatty is the evolution of Skitty. I don't really consider it all that good, but it does get a lot of move variations, as you would expect from a normal type. Just when you think you're going to win, your opponent restores HP. Can you just imagine how awful that must feel? I'll show you exactly how awful it feels. To go into other strategies, if you're not using a fighting type on your team, there are Pokemon that resist normal type moves, namely Rock and Steel types. So if you wanted to pick up a Geodude back in Granite Cave or a few of the other areas later on, it's definitely a good choice for this area. It's very strong, should definitely be evolved by this point, has good defense. And yeah, it has option to a lot of good attacks, namely Self-Destruct. It's one of the few Pokemon that can learn this move, but it can be very helpful if you're struggling against some of the tougher opponents in this area. Along with that, another rock type. I guess Nosepass could be helpful. Unfortunately, I don't think you're able to evolve your Nosepass in the remakes before this point. So sadly, it's not that good of an option, but it does get some good status moves that can be helpful in this area. Also, hello, Wigglytuff. That's a fairly interesting Pokemon that evolves from something that we haven't seen yet in this adventure. Well, eventually we'll get to see it. Ooh, that's something. But yeah, Wigglytuff is a pure normal type who becomes normal fairy starting Gen 6. So watch out for that if you're going up against it in the remakes. Which, I must say, Wigglytuff is deceptively better than you would expect it to be. Cause in one of my previous playthroughs of Alpha Sapphire, I actually used a Wigglytuff on my team just to shake things up, and she was so frickin' reliable with my team. It has very high HP for what it has, and as you would expect from a normal type, it has excellent TM coverage, making it really good at being able to counter a lot of different Pokemon. Plus, having the normal fairy typing in the remakes definitely helps its usability, giving it a lot more resistances and offensive options, and actually making it a good Pokemon to use against Dragon types. So yeah, if you're playing Ruby and Sapphire, Omega Ruby or Alpha Sapphire, I can definitely recommend Wigglytuff. It can be a helpful Pokemon, one that you wouldn't really expect, but pretty good all things considered. Next opponent here. Got a strength room, so we're definitely moving on up in the ranks. So yeah, Dad is not pulling any punches here. He instructed his trainer specifically to not go easy on us. And I wouldn't have things any other way. Ooh, Zangoose. That's definitely going to be a tricky opponent. It's very strong. And it can do that. Swords Dance doubles your attack, basically. But luckily we're able to get a critical hit. Aw man, what's with me constantly talking about how good Zangoose is, only to, like, defeat them really quickly? That's crazy. But I went all out! Yes, you did, and it didn't matter. Alright, so Jerk can take a break for the time being. Don't know how much of a good decision this is considering what we're going up against next in this area. Because I definitely remember this area quite well. It's definitely an intimidating area. And it did give me quite a close scare during one of my previous playthroughs. I'm not going to take it easy just because you're the latest kid. So how horrid it is for a Pokemon to take a critical hit. So other Pokemon to recommend in this area is namely Steel types. Steel's good because it resists a lot of different types, especially the coverage moves that some of the normal types will have. have in this area. Definitely recommend Aron, of course, because being both rock and steel, it resists a normal twice, which is really good. Another option I could see going for is Mawile. Mawile is interesting. Not so much this generation, but I would definitely recommend it more in Generation 6, when it has the dual typing of Steel Fairy, making it infinitely better in that area, and just genuinely being a solid Pokemon overall. I was expecting that, yeah. Dory Shanty, you managed to soften it up. Go for it, Alexa. Very good. You're damn right I'm the real deal. Alright, we're gonna go revive Shanty, and then we should be good for the battles ahead. Although I'm still kind of worried, because I'm pretty sure that we're a bit underleveled for this fight, but hopefully we're able to pull through. If we can't do things here, then we're probably going to do a little bit of training and then come back to this battle next stream if we're not able to do it. Going strategies here. Definitely want Shanty. Yeah, Quick Claw is pretty good on you here. Definitely going to be relying on Protect here, maybe Supersonic as well. Because I could definitely see Supersonic being helpful in a few fights here. Alexa, of course, with Sparks, got some good status moves if we need to use them. Just as a warning, status moves might not be a good option depending on what you're going up against. If you can put your opponents to sleep, that'd be really good, but if you have moves that can inflict burn, paralysis, or poison, I wouldn't really recommend them for what's coming up here. Let's see. Harlequin, I'm probably not going to use you at all here. Got some interesting options in case I do need to bring you out. Armstrong, of course, got very solid power. So I might actually lead with Armstrong in this gym. Set up some iron defenses, max out his defense, and he'll be able to be pretty reliable against what we're going up here. And then, of course, we have Jerk for super effective damage. He can buff his stats with Bulk Up. So yeah, I think we'll actually be able to handle things here. It's gonna be a tricky battle, but I think we can pull this off. I definitely think this is one of the more difficult gyms to get through in this game. But yeah, you don't need to clear every trainer in this gym in order to get to the end. You just need to clear a path through 3 trainers, and you're able to reach your father. So yeah, I'm gonna lead with Armstrong for this. I do have... Yeah, I definitely have items, so... I'll go with the Silk Scarf, because that will boost the power of Strength. I kind of want to go with Strength over Iron Tail, because of Iron Tail's less than good HP. Yeah, I think we're as prepared as we're going to be for this battle. Also, because I haven't said it yet, Skarmory is also a good option here. It's very defensive, resists normal type attacks, and can learn a few status moves that could actually be helpful in this area. Although I'm actually not sure if you're able to get those moves before this point, but whatever. Skarmory's still a good option here. Alright, we're as prepared as we're gonna be. Father, I have returned. So, you did get 4 gym badges. Fine, as I promised, we'll have a Pokemon battle. Haley, I'm so happy I can have a real battle with my own child. But a battle is a battle. I'll do everything in my power as a gym leader to win. Haley, you better give it your best shot, too. Oh, Daddy! Leader Norman, I definitely consider to be the midpoint of this adventure. Leading off, he's got Spinda, a normal type Pokemon that learns quite a few tricky moves that you'll want to watch out for. Like that, Teeter Dance. That is a confusion move, and definitely an annoying one. Leading with Armstrong here, in order to get off an Iron defense, this will raise his defense and make him even better at taking attacks during this battle. It's also good because that will also lower the damage Armstrong will deal to himself while confused. So for now, let's just go for strength and see if we're able to take out Spinda. We're definitely higher leveled than this thing, so we should have an easy time at taking this thing out. Yeah, it's just kind of spamming Teeter Dance right now, because none of its offensive moves are going to be good against Armstrong. It's got Psybeam, which is a decent counter for fighting types overall. It's also capable of inflicting confusion. So I think for this thing, we might actually want to switch to Iron Tail, because I don't know if Strength's going to do enough power to KO this thing. Yeah, Psybeam will be hitting through Armstrong's defense here, but we should still be good to take this thing out. If we can just land an Iron Tail, we should be able to take out Spinda, and we should be good for the rest of the battle. Come on. Alright. We're gonna try once more, and then we're gonna heal. Alright, snapped out of confusion, just need to land this hit. Boom! And Spinda's down. So yeah, Spinda is an interesting first opponent, being able to inflict confusion and having a counter to... I do not want to see that right now. Norman's sending out the big guns right away. I'm gonna switch to Shanty here. So meet the strongest Pokemon in Norman's team. Slacking is a monster of a Pokemon. High HP, incredible attack, great defensive options, and it's much faster than it looks. This thing has the highest stats of anything we have seen up to this point. But it does have one drawback, as we're going to see here. I'm going to use Protect so that we can get through whatever attack Slacking is going to do here. Alright, it went for Facade, that's good. And we're going to do Supersonic to hopefully... Okay. So yeah, Slacking's loafing around. As you can see from its name, Slacking is quite the lazy bugger. Because of its Truant ability, it will only be able to attack every other turn. Which, if you're very clever about using strategies here, you should be able to get around Slacking's power with status moves, and hopefully you'll be able to get through here. So I want Shanty here because between Protect being able to block its attacks when it does hit, and being able to use Supersonic, we are pretty good here to whittle this thing down. Okay, managed to hit itself. It's good. Let's go to Protect just in case. Just gonna try to whittle this thing down. Alright, we're doing pretty good here, all things considered. Things could definitely turn south here. This Slacking is a very powerful opponent. Alright, we managed to get rid of its Citrus Berry. That's good. Let's go to Protect again. Just a heads up, if you're fighting Norman in Ruby, Sapphire, the remakes, he has 2 Slacking on his team. I don't know why, but yeah. Let's go for the wing attack here. What I'd also recommend in this area is that if you have X items, definitely use them. There are a lot of opportunities to buy them in this game, so definitely go for them if you can. Let's use Protect again. You also want to watch out for that Yawn, because that will put you to sleep, and it can be not very good here. He's probably going to use a healing item here. So let's take this opportunity to use a X item. Yeah, let's use an X attack. Yep, he's using a Hyper Potion. Look at how much HP that recovers. Let's go for Wing Attack. Okay, good. It's loafing around. That's very good. Alright. We're doing a little bit more damage here. Don't know how much longer we'll be able to use Shanty because... Ooh, counter. We are steadily running out of power points for Protect, meaning we're going to have to go purely on the offensive against this thing. But hopefully with that attack boost from the X attack, we should be able to do some good damage here before Shanty inevitably has to go purely on offense. Let's Protect again. We definitely used up a lot of this Slack King's PP for its attack, so... Good work, Shanty. You've been very good at whittling this thing down. Alright, if we're able to get off 2 more attacks, then we're good. Oh, I didn't like to see that counter. So that is a move that will inflict twice the damage afflicted to you if you use a physical attack. It can definitely be tricky. But luckily, Shanty managed to pull through and Slack King is out of here. Woo! It's definitely worried about that thing. It is the strongest Pokemon on Norman's team, but with it gone, we should have a relatively easy time against what's coming up next. Let's look at Armstrong here. Look at his experience. Oh yeah, I definitely want to use Armstrong here. So his remaining Pokemon shouldn't have anything that will give Armstrong too much trouble here. Let's go and heal up, and we should be good. Let's actually use that Hyper. Actually, no. Soda Pop will be more than enough. So Vigoroth is the intermediate form between Slakoth and Slack King. Compared to the other two, this thing is much more active. Its ability is Vital Spirit, so you're incapable of putting it to sleep. And it's not hung up with the only attacks every other turn gimmick. So Vigoroth is a very good Pokemon. And one I definitely recommend if you're going for... if you feel like challenging yourself with using a Slakoth, because it definitely take a while to get it to the Vigoroth state, but when you do have it, it's a fantastic normal type. I've used these things countless times, and I can't recommend them enough. Just the whole Slakoth line in general is one of my favorite normal types. It's like Snorlax in a lot of ways, where it's a very bulky Pokemon, and that's also very powerful. And while it does have its weaknesses, it's still a tremendous Pokemon if you're able to use it well. Alright, and our final opponent here is Linu. This thing is very fast, and it will mainly try to get critical hits on you with Slash. And I have quite the history with this Linu. Back in my Emerald Nuzlocke, which I documented in comic form over on DeviantArt and the Nuzlocke forums, this Linu was responsible for the first death in my comic. See, I'm very happy I managed to get through this bloodless. Oh boy, this is This is normally a very tough gym to get through, but I'm very glad we managed to get through at this point. I can't. I can't believe it. Haley. I lost to Haley? But rules are rules. Here, take this. Some very much needed money. And we received the Balance Badge. Very fitting, because I consider Norman to have a very balanced team, especially in Emerald. With that badge, the defense of all your Pokemon will increase. Pokemon that know the HM move Surf will be able to travel over water. This is my gift to you, Haley. I'm sure you can use it correctly. We get TM42. TM42 contains Facade. It doubles the power moves of the Pokemon's Poison, Paralyze, or Burned. Might be able to turn a bad situation into an advantage. This move really works well if you're using a Pokemon with the Guts ability, like Swellow or Machop, just saying. As the gym leader, I can't express how upset I am. But as a father, it makes me both happy and a little sad. It's odd. Ah, there you are, Haley. Please, come with me. I have something I want you to have. Norman, you don't mind, do you? Let me borrow your Haley for a minute or two. You interrupted a very serious father-daughter moment, sir. I hope you realize what a huge buffoon you're being right now. Haley, please excuse us for dragging you here this way, but our Wally's become very healthy since he went to Verdanturf Town. We owe it all to you. When Wally left town, you helped him catch a Pokemon, right? I think that made Wally really happy. Actually, not just Wally, it made me, his father, happy too. Happy that he's gained such a great friend as you. This isn't a bribe or anything, but I'd really like you to have this. HM3, one of the best HMs you can get in this game. If your Pokemon can surf, you'll be able to go to all sorts of places. If you have a water type in your team, definitely teach it this move. Not only is it needed to progress the story, it's as powerful as Flamethrower. And a lot of Pokemon, not just water types, are able to learn it. This is easily the most useful HM in the game. I cannot recommend this thing enough. It's really good. Ah, Shanty, I'm so glad you have that, cuz, yeah, with your stats, Water Gun was really not hitting as hard as I'd like it to, but now that you have Surf, you'll be much better offensively. I'm just so proud of you! I'm very happy with this team. They really managed to pull through against what I consider one of the toughest battles in the game. Wally's coming home soon. I'm looking forward to that. I want you to keep this a secret from my husband, but our Wally left Verdanturf Town without telling anyone. You know, Wally is frail, but he's surprisingly strong-willed. I'm sure he'll come back safe and sound one day. Really? Let's actually go see how Wally's doing. Oh, Haley! I left my uncle's place in Verdanturf without telling anyone. I wonder if he's furious with me. Haley, you understand how I feel, don't you? I do, Wally. I do. Also, just as a heads up, as we're progressing the adventure, I highly recommend checking out the match hall from time to time, because I believe now that we defeated Norman, we're actually able to have trainers call us in order to request rematches, which is very helpful for raising your Pokemon. Whew, but now that we've gotten through, like, the toughest battle we're gonna have this stream, and we got ourselves a swanky new move, it's time, once again, to explore every single place we've been to before in order to see what we're now able to get with our brand new HM. First of all, here in Petalburg City, there's actually some stuff for us. Also, for this point, I would recommend equipping the item finder. Where is it? There you are. Yeah, we'll have that registered so that we have it handy. So yeah, surfing is a very classic mechanic in this series. Namely because you're actually able to encounter Pokemon while you're surfing on the water. Which is good. Compared to the things that we encountered in the grass previously, the Pokemon you can encounter with Surf are much higher level than what we've seen up to this point. So, if you're looking to add certain Pokemon to your team, now is a very good time to do so. It's got a rare candy there, which is very helpful, but it's not the only thing we get here. Ether can help replenish power points in battle, which is very good. I believe we can also head over here for some stuff. Get a Max Revive, very nice. So Max Revive is the equivalent of a revival herb that doesn't inflict like a bitter sensation. Overall, it's a very good item. You cannot obtain these very easily, so definitely hold on to them. Besides very dire circumstances. I would mainly recommend keeping the revival herbs handy because you can actually buy those as opposed to max revives. But yeah, if you find a max revive, definitely keep them because they can be very handy. Also, before we go see what other stuff we can get with Surf, there's one major thing I wanted to show off. Is that if we head all the way back to Little Root Town, there's someone we haven't talked to in quite a while. Our mother. What is that, honey? A Pokénav? Someone from Devon gave it to you. Well, honey, how about registering your mom? You could have done this as soon as you got the Pokénav back after the first gym. I just completely forgot you could do this and decided to save this until after beating Norman. Oh, did Dad give you that badge? And here's something from your mom. For beating Norman, we get the amulet coin from her mother. Don't push yourself too hard, dear. You can always come home. Go for it, honey. The amulet coin is a very good item, especially if you're looking to grind up money for TMs and items. This doubles the amount of money you get in battles against trainers. Obviously, this is a really, really good item. So I don't really have anything that benefits Alexa in terms of affecting her moves, so I'll give her the amulet coin for now. I definitely think that'll be helpful. Especially because it's going to be a little while before we can afford another TM at the game corner. And trust me, there's a lot more TMs that I'm going to be buying there for the team in the future. Especially with some future team members, because, yeah, we are nowhere near done to completing this team just yet. It will be a little while before we see who the 6th and final member of the team's going to be, but yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Now, the next stop is going to be here on Route 103, as we can now finally cross the water over here to reach the side that leads back to the Trick House. In fact, I kind of forgot there was actually a Trick House challenge we could have done after beating Flannery and before Norman. I'll definitely have to head back there. Watch where you're going! We're gonna crash! This sort of distance, you should just swim it. I mean, I guess so. So got a opportunity for a double battle here. Isabelle and Pete. So we're fighting a little Shih Tzu and a giant fat cat. Okay. So yeah, we've got ourselves a lot of opportunities for battles now that we have Surf. These aren't the only trainers we're going to be fighting today, and oh boy, am I looking forward to some of these battles. Mainly because 2 of our Pokemon are very close to getting a much-needed upgrade, and I'm looking forward to it. Just managed to take those 2 relatively easily. It's kind of a shame that their levels mainly match the levels of the trainers on Route 103. They're not really tied to some of the other opponents will eventually be getting to see that are much higher leveled. A little disappointing that they're that weak, but whatever. We got a Trick House challenge to do, 2 of them in fact, because I forgot to do one of them between us streams. Before we go in there, however, there is something we can grab over here. Going up here, we are able to get to this item ball, containing a rare candy. Very, very helpful. This isn't the only thing for us now that we can surf on Route 110, but we'll be coming here a little bit later. There is definitely something really good here we'll eventually be able to get. I highly recommend picking it up. But yeah, we'll be seeing what that is about much later on. Nice, Alexa. Very nice. Alright, let's go see what the Trick Master has for us. You're not that very good at hiding, buddy. Huh? How'd you know I conceal myself in this dresser? You're sharp. Yes, I'm back to challenge your Trick House, buddy. I should have been here much earlier, but I just completely forgot about it before the battle against Norman. But hey, we were able to pull through even without the extra experience, which I'm very thankful for. The team really did good in that battle. A lot better than I was expecting. I was definitely thinking that some Pokemon would have to go in just to get a little bit of damage in, get taken out by Slacking until we eventually worn it down. But no, I actually managed to pull through and defeat that thing with a Petalburg. Ah, man. It's definitely one of the more interesting ways I've beaten a Slacking. So in my aforementioned Emerald Nuzlocke, I actually managed to beat that Slacking with a Dustox. No kidding. So my strategy during that fight is that I had my Dustox, of course, use Protect on the turns where Slacking wasn't loafing around, and then I used the Toxic TM that I got in Fiery Path in order to whittle its HP down with poison damage, using Protect whenever it was going for a main attack, and then once it was weak enough, I was just able to beat it with my Dustox's normal attacks. So yeah, it was definitely a very fun way of getting to beat that boss back during that challenge. I still really think back about that run and just how it was one of my... definitely one of the more interesting Pokemon experiences I've been through. It's really great using that particular team. One thing I definitely wanted to do when I started this series is that I wanted to use a different team than the one that I used back in my Emerald Nuzlocke. Just because, for me, it didn't feel right to be using those same Pokemon again. I really wanted to go for new experiences. And just because things were just so distinct and so impactful during that run, I feel like using those very same Pokemon again, but in a more casual playthrough, would have just diminished those memories. So going for a completely new team with new experiences was definitely a good call. At least in my opinion. I don't know, it's coming across kind of sappy here that I'm focusing so much on, like, my team on a very personal level. I mean, when it comes down to it, they're just ones and zeros. But they're my ones and zeros! So right there I'm showing off one of Cacnea's moves. It's one of the few Pokemon that's able to learn Ingrain. It's an attack that will make it so that we're able to replenish HP at the end of every turn, but as long as Ingrain is in effect, we're not able to switch out. So it's definitely an interesting move. Highly recommend it if you're going up against an opponent that you know that you'll be able to handle all their Pokemon with your one specific Pokemon, because otherwise it could be a hassle getting through it otherwise. I was kind of weighing in whether to give Harlequin that over Leech Seed, because Leech Seed definitely has its benefits, but just being able to set up an Ingrain and being able to stay in the battle without having to worry about switching out was just such an interesting concept, and it's a move that I don't really use that often, and so I figured getting to use it off and actually get experience with it would be an interesting move to make. I don't know what's going on here. I'm starting to feel sad. Oh, definitely need a drink there. Martha here's got a little skitty. And we are going to annihilate it with my Minetric. I mean, if a house cat went up against a wolf, pretty much the exact same thing would happen. Ooh, and a Swablu. So yeah, I haven't really talked about it just yet, but this trick house challenge is a little interesting. You've got a maze with these opening and closing doors, and you just have to kind of hit the switch in order to open the pathways here. It's certainly unique compared to what we've seen before. Alright, hit that one, and we're able to get to the scroll. There's one more item we can get here, and I definitely want to see that. So I don't think there are any more trainers here. Nope. Alright, so it's just a matter of getting to this item, which we can do very easily. And that's wood mail. Alright, we got 2 mail. Not very good items, but whatever. Okay, we need to be careful here. Gotta find another switch, hit that, and then we'll make our way up here. Okay, I kind of see what I have to do. We need to specifically hit that switch on the way back. This is interesting. So don't think we need to hit that one. Let's try to go for this one. Then we'll come up here. Hit that, and then we reach the end. Alright, that was certainly the more interesting of the Trickmaster challenges we've been through. I told you they get better. You made it to me. You're sharp. It took me all night to prepare the wall panels. You're almost my equal in greatness by 1, 2, 3, 4 places. We're making our way up. Hardstone. That is a hold item that boosts the power of rock-type moves. And I'm pretty sure that's the only place in the game you're able to get that. I definitely teach that to Armstrong, maybe for a later battle, but for now, Rock Tomb is just kind of weak compared to the other attacks he has, so I don't really feel like it's worth it. Like, just boosting the power of strength using the Silk Scarf has been really helpful to me so far. Definitely going to keep doing that. But that was only one of the challenges we were able to do. So that was specifically the challenge you do after beating Flannery. After beating her father, a new challenge opens up for us. See ya, buddy. So in here, we got a strength puzzle. So this is a rather interesting challenge in that you can easily see yourself getting locked out of finishing the puzzle and having to leave and come back in order to reset things. Definitely want to be cautious here, and definitely think about the moves you're going to take. Too much bother to think this out. I only wanted to battle. You and me both. So my team definitely needs the experience, but don't worry, we'll get plenty of it. Cora, spelled kind of like coral, but still. Cora is definitely a series I want to get back to watching. Like, I've seen bits of Season 1 and 2, but haven't really seen a whole lot of the other stuff. I mean, I know what happens, and certain things about certain character relationships. But yeah, I'll eventually get around to that in time. Alright, Alexa's leveled up here, so let's let Harlequin get a few more battles here, especially because she is only a few more battles away from getting a much-needed power-up. Mech Mail. So that is another unique type of mail. Don't think we need to go there just yet. So this one, I want to push that rock over there. Then we'll maneuver this way. Boulders like this I can push aside with one finger. Good on you, buddy. Then again, I've seen Goku smash apart bricks using only his pinky. So, that's something. So Makuhita. He'll be an interesting opponent here for Harlequin. Vein Attack's not good. Let's go for Absorb. At least I have the Miracle Seed to boost the power of Absorb, because this thing is a rather weak attack, and was not anticipating that. Switch out Armstrong. Switch, switch, switch. Yeah, you're not doing good against a Makuhita. So that's definitely a move you wouldn't expect Makuhita to learn, but it's capable of learning Whirlwind. Which is interesting. As you can see, it can instantly end a wild battle by making the opponent flee, or it will switch out your opponents in a trainer battle. It's quite an interesting attack. Ooh, this is going to be a tough one. Machoke is the evolution of Machop. It's much stronger and just genuinely a much better fighter. Seismic Toss. Ooh, that's an interesting move. So Seismic Toss is interesting in that it isn't affected by type. The damage it deals is based on the level of the user, I believe. So its damage isn't calculated by stats, but by the level of your Pokemon, which is a fairly interesting move. It's definitely good for whittling away some of the more defensive Pokemon by getting around their stats entirely. With that said, we finally managed to reach the scroll here, and we managed to pass the challenge. Just a few more boulders to push, and we're good. Hello there. The trick house is getting trickier, isn't it? Sure thing. It's almost like it's a trick house or something. Wait a minute. Paula! It's named after a very reliable party member in the Earthbound series. Man, look at this guy. Breloom is the evolution of Shroomish. It becomes a grass fighting type, and oh boy, is this thing good. It's very strong and very fast. I do not like you, sir. But yeah, Breloom is definitely one of the most reliable Pokemon you can get. It's very strong, very fast, gets some very interesting move coverage, can learn a lot of status moves on top of its very good move pool. It's just a very interesting Pokemon. Definitely one I'd recommend. But I'm sad that Harlequin didn't get any experience from that. Don't worry, Harlequin, you'll get your chance very soon. Let's push that over, push that one, and we're good. Trickmaster's cool. I mean, he went to the trouble of making all these puzzles for us, so yeah, I think he deserves to be called cool. 1, 2, 3 places. We're getting up there. Smoke Ball is a very interesting held item. If your Pokemon is holding it and they are in a wild battle, you can use the Smoke Ball to instantly flee from battle without having to worry about failing. It's a pretty helpful item if you're just looking to get through areas without having to deal with battles. And with that, we're probably going to have to wait till the next gym. Yep, he's going to be working on the next challenge. So take care of that. Let's go heal up Harlequin, and then we'll get back to exploring some water areas. There's definitely quite a few areas we can see now. One thing we can do back here in Slateport, we're not able to see too much, but there is something very good for us if we go this way. So I believe once you obtain the secret power TM back on Route 111, let's talk to this guy. He now has items he can sell to us. these are items that exist purely for secret bases. I'm not going to be buying them right now, but we'll definitely go over them later. When I get around to actually talking about secret bases. So I believe that is everything we're able to see. Oh, I also believe this shop becomes open to us now. TM10. Alright, TM10 I believe is hidden power. That's an interesting move in that its power and typing is based on the Pokemon that you equip it to. Like, specifically, your Pokemon's independent and personality values go into the calculating the power as well as the typing of this attack. It's interesting, definitely useful for a lot of strategies, but I'm not going to go for it just yet. TM43, however, is secret power, which we got before. So we're able to buy these in bulk, which is pretty good. They're a very reliable move, all things considered. As I said before, secret power will have an added effect depending on where specifically in the world you use it. And then this guy, of course, has Pokédolls. So yeah, all in all, a lot of stuff has opened up to us here in the Slateport Market. Which is fairly nice. But now that that's taken care of, why don't we head back on over this way? Mainly because a lot of stuff has opened up for us back on the areas leading up to Rustboro, and some of the stuff past that area that I definitely want to check out. And just a heads up, definitely recommend having the mock bike going forward. There's some stuff coming up that will rely on the mock bike specifically. But definitely before we actually progress the main story, we're definitely going to... Ooh, very lucky critical hit there. We will eventually be going back to get the Aqua bike. So just mainly want to show off on the map. In order to progress the story, we want to head east from Mobile to Route 118. But we're not doing that just yet because we have so much stuff open to us at this point in the adventure. So don't think there's anything for us over here. Nope. Anything with an item finder? Nope. Okay. Hey, how's it going? I've got everything here in Petalburg City. One thing I'd like to say, namely about the one area, Route 118, there is an item we are now able to get there that is very helpful, especially for filling out the Pokédex and getting new team members. And so, if you're looking to get that, I highly recommend doing that before actually progressing in and exploring these various areas. Now that's out of the way, let's go back to exploring these areas around Rustboro. Because quite a few things are now open up to us with Surf. Now one thing for us, back here in the flower shop, this flower shop started selling saplings recently. Made me so happy I went overboard shopping. I don't need this white herb anymore. Would you take it, please? We saw just how effective this white herb was in a lot of battles. Being able to get rid of stat drops is very helpful. Haley, welcome. What can I do for you? So I believe once you get the secret power TM, you're now able to buy these items to decorate your secret bases with. They can be pretty nice if you're looking to decorate your secret base, but they're not helpful to me at the time being, so I'll just ignore them. Alright, we got a Chesto Berry. Those are pretty hard to come by, so I'm very glad I grabbed that. Thank you for that. Now, over this way on Route 104, we got this big lake here. I really like the ripple effect of the wind blowing the surface of the water. It's really cool. We got another item here. PP up. Ooh, that is good. Definitely gonna save that for later, because that can be very good for boosting the power points of some of our late game items. Let's go over here, back to Rustboro City. And yeah, let's go back in the PC, deposit the items we don't need, because we grabbed quite a few items. Put that away, put the white herb away. Another thing I'd like to note about the white herb, it is a consumable item. So if you use it in like a wild Pokemon battle or a trainer battle, it's gone for good. Highly recommend saving it specifically for battles in the multiplayer, because when you're in those kind of battles, your items don't get permanently used up, which is very helpful. But now that that's been taken care of, let's head back up here to Route 115. Because to see this water here, with Surf, we are now able to cross the sea here and get up to this area that we could only reach by getting through Meteor Falls before, which is very nice, but that's not the only thing in this area, because now we can go up here to this very secluded spot of the map. Just in case I didn't go over that, those square markings that you see along a lot of cliff sides, those are areas where you can make secret bases. Those, along with those specific trees, are all areas you can do secret bases with. I got ourselves a lot of trainer battles in this area. I'll battle while I'm running. Try to keep up with me. So yeah, we got a lot of battles in this area. While we're going through them, what's some stuff to talk about? I don't know. One thing, just kind of health-wise, I'm a little tired because definitely got a little too much sun yesterday when I was at the beach. But hey, it happens. Oh no, just overall, it was a very fun day. Just, it's been a while since I've been in the water, and just like getting there in the lake was very nice for me. Just getting to relax, not have to worry about work. Just, it was a good time. Really appreciated getting that time off to do that, because it was definitely something to like help my psyche and my physical body during this time. Say, it's a stressful time for all of us. We've got to find ways to make ourselves happy. Right, Dodrio, this is going to be a tough opponent here. Dodrio is the evolution of Doduo. As you would expect, it's very strong and very fast. Luckily, it doesn't have anything that's really good against Armstrong, at least in this generation. In later generations, it's able to learn a very good ground move called Drill Run, which is definitely handy for getting past some of its weaknesses. Yeah, I definitely recommend Dodrio. It's definitely one of the fastest and strongest Pokemon you can get around. You're not going to run into them until much later on in the game, however, so it's a little tough to recommend there. But beating that guy, Armstrong's finally leveled up. So excited! It's time. Armstrong is evolving into one of my favorite intermediate Pokemon based on its design. It's a really cool one. Armstrong evolved into Lairon. I really love this guy. Like, its body's much more pronounced and dinosaur-like. It's a lot more complex and edgy than it used to be. It's definitely cool. Very good design. Just look at those stats. That high attack and those defenses. It's easily the most defensive Pokemon we got on the team right now. And definitely one of the strongest ones offensively. So yeah, this is why I highly recommend the Aron family. It takes a while for them to evolve, but they're really good when they do. So I'll put you aside now, Armstrong, because we need to get Harlequin some experience. Hey buddy, you mind fighting me? You seem rather capable. Let me keep you company. This guy suddenly grew hair between screens. Expert Timothy. Experts, you can expect to see a lot more higher level and actually formidable Pokemon than what you've seen before. Like this guy, Hariyama. Kinda hate to swap out Harlequin here in her right before her moment of glory, but this thing's powerful and bulky and I don't want her to fight this thing alone. Hariyama is the evolution of Makuhita, and all around a very solid Pokemon. Its best stat is its HP, making it very bulky and able to take a lot of hits, and its attack is definitely no slouch. It gets a lot of very interesting and unique moves, and definitely has a lot of strategies compared to most fighting-type Pokemon. Namely, it's able to use Fake Out there to give it a priority move. It's also able to use moves like Whirlwind, of course, to swap out Pokemon. It's got one move that's very interesting, we're probably not going to see much later, but it's a really interesting stat buff move that we'll eventually see in this adventure. But yeah, Hariyama is just, all in all, a very solid fighting type, one of my favorites from this generation. And the experience we got from that, Harlequin's now evolving. Oh, I'm so excited! Getting so many evolutions now! If she only had a brain. Harlequin's evolved into Cacturn. It's a scarecrow made from a cactus. That is just such a cool concept for a Pokemon. Why do people sleep on this thing so much? Well, let's look at those stats. Yeah, compared to most grass types, it's kind of on the slow side, and its defenses aren't all that good. But look at the offenses on this thing. She's definitely one of the strongest Pokemon we got with us right now. And from evolving, she also gains the Dark typing. And of course she keeps Sandveil, which will be very helpful to us later down the line. So yeah, having a Cacturn at this point is very good. Especially because we're going to be dealing with a lot of water in the future. So having a fully evolved grass type is very dang helpful. Also, just saying, because of the way things are structured in this region, having a grass type will be very helpful as we advance through this adventure. And I can definitely see Harlequin being much more helpful as this journey progresses. Careful here. Maybe we can get this double battle. Take that! Ultra Pokemon Ninja Attack! Nope. It's interesting, you are able to trigger some double battles in this area, which would be good. Ninja Boy Jaden. It's kinda ninja-esque. Nothing we haven't seen before. This thing is very fast. It's relatively hard. And it's got some tricky tactics like Double Team. Speaking of ninjas, there's something that I haven't covered at this point, and I felt like I should probably bring it up now, considering that, well, there's really no way you're able to encounter this thing normally in the single player. So, Ninjask is one of the evolutions of Nincada, but there is another Pokemon that you're able to get from this family. So when you evolve Nincada into Ninjask, if you have an empty space in your party and one free Pokeball, you get another Pokemon for free. This Pokemon being Shedinja. Shedinja is definitely one of the more interesting Pokemon in the Dex. It is a bug ghost type. In fact, I think it's the only bug ghost type in the Dex, which definitely helps it stand out. For its entire lifespan, Shedinja only has 1 HP, but its ability makes it so that it cannot take damage unless it is from a super effective attack or from other means of damage, such as weather, status effects, and the like. So Shedinja's a very interesting Pokemon. Depending on what it's put up against, it can either be an incredible wall, able to just take everything your opponent can give to them and just whittle them down with its tricky tactics, or it just gets utterly curb stomped by whatever it goes up against. It's a very bizarre Pokemon, one that I haven't really used too much, but it's pretty cool. If you're looking to challenge yourself with a very unorthodox team, I could definitely see Shedinja being an interesting Pokemon to use. Hello there, Koichi. But yeah, that's mainly what I want to say. We're not going to encounter Shedinja normally in the single player, so I just wanted to bring that up now that we have actually fought Ninjask a few times. Alright, Shanty's leveled up, that's good. Oh, ouch! Yeah, take that, buddy. My Machop crew! As long as they seek power, grow strong with them! Actually, very glad that I came to this area, because I gotta talk about a lot of Pokemon in this area. Not just ones on my own team, but also a lot of ones that we encountered here in battle. It's got another opportunity for double battle here. Good. Black Belt level strength. Ooh, that's something. And what do you got for me? It's got a Battle Girl and a Psychic. So a fighting trainer and a psychic trainer. Very interesting pairing. They definitely do a lot more pairings like this in Gen 6, namely in the Callus games, because, oh boy, there are some tough battles they have in those games. Like I said, that I feel that Emerald has some of the hardest boss battles in the series. X and Y, I feel, has some of the hardest regular trainers in the series, because so many trainers use very powerful Pokemon than the ones that you would normally encounter up to that point. And a lot of them have very good coverage moves on their Pokemon compared to what you've seen at that point, so there are just a lot of battles in those games that can be really tricky. Yeah, that's definitely something I can recommend about X and Y. Definitely has some of the harder regular trainers in the series. I can definitely recommend those games on that alone. Definitely some interesting battles. So right there we have Kirlia. That is the evolution of Ralts, being a psychic fairy type in Generation 6 onwards. All in all, it's pretty much just a stronger Ralts. Very high special attack, but not much else. However, if you are using Ralts, I would definitely recommend holding on to it, because eventually it becomes one of the best special attackers in the game. But also something I'd recommend is that if you're playing Omega Ruby or Alpha Sapphire, there's another evolution you can get for your Kirlia, but only if it is male. And yeah, it's interesting. I actually went with its male evolution, which would probably, I see no better point to talk about it, but Gallade is just such a good Pokemon. Unlike Metatype, it's a fighting psychic type, and it's easily one of the best Pokemon you can get in the game. Like, it's got fantastic power overall. It's a great offensive typing, being able to hit so many places. And adding to that, its move pool is so good, giving it access to so many different types of offensive options. It's a fantastic Pokemon. But if you're playing Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, you're not going to get Gallade until really late in the game because the stone that you get to evolve it isn't until really late in the adventure. So if you're trying to go for Gallade in that game, I would definitely recommend and being careful with it because you're going to be sticking with a unevolved Kirlia for quite a long time in those adventures. Alright, so this is why I wanted to recommend having the mock bike in this area. We're gonna register that, and we should be good to go up here. So over here we got iron. So that's a vitamin that will increase defense. I can think of just the Pokemon to give that to. Armstrong, take it. To go into that TM that we just got. TM1, Focus Punch. This is one of the strongest fighting type moves in the game. But the thing with it is that it can only be used if your opponent does not directly attack you on the turn you're using it. If they do, then the move will fail. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting attack. You'll definitely want to structure your teams that they'll be able to make the most of it. But if you're able to do that, you got yourself a very hard-hitting attack. It's definitely one of the more interesting moves in the series. So now we run into a Soul Rock, no problem here. Just kind of on topic, seeing this thing, I actually did catch a shiny Soul Rock back when I was playing Y a few years ago. But unfortunately, I was very careless and ended up deleting the thing along with the save file that I had it on, so whoops. Just to show up here in Meteor Falls, we're able to surf in this area, but we cannot go any farther than here. Pay attention to that waterfall, because we'll eventually be able to do something within the future. Wow, 2 Soul Rocks in a row, what is this? I don't normally have this much luck encountering rare Pokemon. I mean, in a lot of different playthroughs, I've actually been able to get some pretty good luck, not with my encounters from time to time, but yeah, that's fairly interesting. So Route 114, I think there's some stuff we can do here, now that we have Surf. It's mainly this area and the area around Mauville City that I want to go to next before we end things off in this stream, because we're almost at the 2-hour mark. And I like to end things at a good spot at Mauville City, because there's going to be a side quest open to us now that we have Surf. And I definitely like to get started on that in the next stream before we go take care of some other intermediate things before advancing the story. Looking forward to it, Dylan. Yeah, we got this little area here in Route 114. You can surf across here to get to this very secluded and secret base spot. And as you see there's another waterfall. Want to remember that for later. And I don't know if there's anything over here. Nope. Alright, so that's everything we can do in this area with Surf for the time being. Alright, we are almost done everything that I wanted to get done this stream. Let's just head on over back to the Wind Straits, and we should be about done. While we're on there is one other thing that I wanted to discuss that's been going on lately. So I had an RPG Maker project that I have been working on for a few months now, and very recently I've actually started back up on it, and managed to get a few areas done in it today, which is very good. Definitely like to advance the story in this game and try to just get as much as I can with it, because it's been something I've been really looking forward to doing for quite a few years now. I'd really like to get this adventure over with. Not like that makes it sound like it's a pain to do. It's actually been very fun. I've really been enjoying working on this project. Especially because it involves characters that I've had for just so many years, and I really want to tell their stories, and we're really getting to some exciting things in the plot here. It's been a while since we've been to the desert. And no, the Mirage Tower doesn't come back, sadly. Smash this rock. And we're back over by the Winstrait's house. And no, Trainer Hill is not available to us just yet. We're able to go over here, and we can grab an HP up. That's good, because it'll increase our base HP. So who is going to take this? I think because, yeah, she could definitely use some more HP, considering she's a very bulky Pokemon. Shanty, you can take that. Also, I just saw Pocky has an item for us. Potion, okay. So we're definitely going to get to the point where we're not going to be... We're definitely going to come to the point where we're not going to be relying on a pickup Pokemon of that level just yet. Because we're coming across a point where we'll be able to get some higher level pickup Pokemon. I'm very looking forward to that. There's nothing here, okay? So I want to check the area over here. I think it's Route 117. Yeah, Route 117. We'll check the water around here and see what we can get. Nothing over there. And could be something over here. No response. Okay, I think that's everything we can get with Surf on those areas. Which is pretty good. You can see here, Watson's out of his gym. So next time on our stream, we are going to talk to Watson and see what it is he has for us. And then we're also going to take care of a bunch of other stuff we're able to do in some previous areas that we couldn't before, now that we have access to Surf. Very satisfied with how things went this stream. We got 2 new evolutions, we managed to defeat our father. Oh, it was such a good stream. Alright, see you guys later. This has been fun, but it's time to go. Bye-bye.